portion of the country.
And in sports, how one Ohio basketball player is showing leadership despite being a transfer. Newswatch starts right now.
Good evening, I'm Morgan Anderson.
And I'm Andre Norrells. Welcome to Newswatch, your source for news impacting southeastern Ohio. The Ohio University-owned property known as the Ridges could be seeing a big change in the next decade.
What are now empty buildings could be transformed into housing for people in Athens.
Newswatch reporter Jacob Mata has the story.
The Ridges is an approximately 700-acre property owned by Ohio University since 1993. And for the past 30 years, Ohio University has been trying to figure out what to do with the historic site. This week, people from the OU community and the Athens community had a chance to learn and offer their thoughts on a new vision for the Ridges during two separate town hall meetings. The proposed strategy, spearheaded by community building partners in the Buckeye Hills Regional Council, could bring new life to the Ridges.
The university has made substantial investments, over $30 million in the buildings that it's utilizing, but there's a lot of buildings that are vacant.
If the development strategy is approved, buildings like this could be turned into multiple different types of housing opportunities, ranging from OU students to senior citizens.
So it's the repurposing of the historic buildings that are currently unused and complements what Ohio University has successfully used.
A third meeting is set for March 24th at the Ridges and is open to the public. The University Board of Trustees will vote on the plan during their meeting in April. For Newswatch, I'm Jacob Mata in Athens.
West Virginia Senate Finance Committee passes a proposal giving public school teachers, school service workers, and state police troopers a pay raise. The raise is $2,300 and would replace a 5% pay raise initiated by Governor Jim Justice. The pay increase for other state employees would depend on the state budget. There will be a $115 million fiscal note for the raises, and the bill now goes before the full Senate.
A bill allowing concealed carry on public college campuses is headed to West Virginia Governor Jim Justice's desk. The House of Delegates passed the Campus Self-Defense Act, 84-13. Schools would be allowed to regulate guns in certain settings or situations. Critics of the bill say lawmakers should be spending more time on the efforts to improve mental health for college students instead. Union members in the Morgan Local School District file for a 10-day strike notice with the State Employment Relations Board. The Local 51 union includes bus drivers, classroom and health aides, maintenance workers, custodians, food service employees, and secretaries. A statement from the union notes bus drivers from other districts in the region receive $7 more per hour than bus drivers at Morgan Local. Negotiations began last May, and the union hopes an agreement will be met before the end of the month.
Welcome back. Southeast Ohio Newswatch forecaster Jacob Van Cleve in Athens. You did see those temperatures are sitting at 65 degrees, nice and warm, and we also got some clear skies. Now, big thing to talk about right now, winds are slow at 5, but that is expected to change. But why not enjoy that beautiful weather when we can? And if we take a live look at our beautiful Athens campus here, you'll see people are walking around. I actually saw people walking around in t-shirts today, if you believe it or not. We're in spring. We're in that time of the year where you see those temperatures. And it's not just here in Athens that enjoy this, but it's also all across the region where you saw up towards Columbus. It's a little bit colder, but 58 degrees. They saw warmer temperatures today. And then down south, you also saw in Charleston, West Virginia, they were just as warm as we were here, if not even warmer. But you do notice there is a wind advisory issued on the eastern part of the state, and that's because there's actually some severe weather coming through. You'll see this is the main band of storms right now, but this is the whole bit of rain that is associated with that. We're right here in a clear region where we're seeing those clear skies right now, but things are expected to change. Stay tuned and I'll tell you more of how your changes are affecting you in southeastern Ohio. Andre?
Thanks, Jake. A new exhibit at the Kennedy Museum in Athens aims to spark a conversation about art and diversity. Newswatch reporter Peyton Simchak joins us live in studio with more.
The Centering Black Artists exhibition at the Kennedy Museum of Art hopes by intentionally showcasing black artists, it will bring their art into a new light. Paintings, sculptures, and photographs fill a room in the Kennedy Museum of Art at the Ridges. Everything in this room is the work of black artists. It's the first time the museum brought together people from both the university and community to help curate the Centering Black Artists exhibition. Student Senate President Dana Shoulders is one of those people. Shoulders says she's excited for the community building that can come of this.
I think the museum has done a really good job on bringing our community in. And so one of the opportunities there was how do we continue the conversations about diversity in art?
Shoulders says she enjoyed helping to pick artworks for the program. The group aimed to highlight Black women artists.
You know, that last week in February is that intersection between Black History Month and Women's History Month. So I just thought it would be a very great opportunity to kind of have that talk of intersectionality at that time.
The Kennedy Museum of Art Registrar Lisa Quinn says the goal of the museum is to be a teaching tool for university students.
And it is something that we think about a lot, that we would like to make sure that we're showing a good representation of people in the museum.
The exhibition reflected a variety of the community's suggestions. Quinn says the exhibition engaged a lot of students.
When we're working with students in general, that's another thing they bring to the table. You know, they bring a freshness, they bring in new ideas.
Shoulders says that art is a way to connect people.
We're centering conversations about marginalized communities in a way that's genuine. I think that's the most impactful part.
The conversation will continue tomorrow night with the discussion about Black women artists at the exhibition space. The exhibition is on display for visitors until the summer.
Thanks, Peyton. After the break, NPR plans to lay off 10% of its workforce. And could a 4-day work week change lives? These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
The James Webb Space Telescope.
Think about it as a telescope that enables us to see the hidden universe.
Its mission is only beginning.
We're just tapping into those abilities.
Is there an Earth 2.0 out there?
When you have new eyes, you discover new things. With Webb, we're discovering a new universe.
That's just amazing.
New Eye on the Universe on Nova.
Wednesday at 9 on WOUB.
On Secrets of the Dead, the most significant Viking grave ever found.
This is perhaps the most spectacular burial in this whole field. It doesn't just have weapons, it has all the weapons.
Everything you need to be a professional warrior. And we now know that this warrior was actually a woman.
Viking Warrior Queen on Secrets of the Dead.
Wednesday at 10 on WOUB.
What does it take to be a wild dog in our modern world? Right now, dedicated people are going to extraordinary lengths to find out.
The American red wolf is actually on the brink of extinction.
It's time to take a fresh look at this amazing family and get closer than ever before to dogs in the wild.
Wednesday at 8 on WOUB.
We are at Adena Mansion and Gardens. This is where Ohio history began. They're in their writing, talking all night long about what they wanted Ohio to be. What type of state did they want Ohio to be? They wrote the Constitution, came out and saw the sun coming up over the Mount Logan Range. That is the inspiration for the Great Seal of Ohio.
The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency orders Norfolk Southern to clean up after one of its trains carrying toxic chemicals derailed in East Palestine, causing evacuations and concerns due to the contamination. More than 2 weeks after the derailment, officials are working to assure residents the air and water are safe despite health concerns in the community. Gloria Pazmino has the latest details.
Pay for the cleanup. That's what the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency is ordering Norfolk Southern to do more than 2 weeks after a train carrying toxic chemicals derailed in East Palestine. The disaster resulted in a days-long fire that sent plumes of black smoke into the air and led to the intentional release of vinyl chloride to help avoid a worse explosion.
We need our town cleaned up. We need our residents to feel safe in their homes.
During a press briefing Tuesday, Ohio Governor Mike DeWine was critical of laws on the books that do not require train companies to notify local governments when hazardous materials are passing through the area.
The fact that this train did not qualify under current law, requiring the railroad company to make that notification is just absurd.
Now this community is caught in the middle as more reports of health problems emerge and officials try to assure people the air and water in this community is safe. The cleanup order, which is legally binding, will require the company to identify and clean the contaminated soil and water resources and reimburse the EPA for services provided to residents and local businesses. So far, the soil under the railroad tracks at the derailment site has been determined to be contaminated.
So the tracks will have to be taken up and that soil will have to be removed.
Meanwhile, officials open a new clinic Tuesday that will serve residents impacted by the train derailment. I'm Gloria Pasmino reporting.
Norfolk Southern says they want to do what's right for the residents of East Palestine, issuing a statement on their commitment to safely cleaning the site and reimbursing residents for the disruption. President Biden spoke yesterday with Ohio and Pennsylvania governors about the government's response in East Palestine. Next month, the National Public Radio plans to lay off approximately 10% of its workforce. Chief Executive John Lansing says the network is projecting a budget shortfall of $30 million. Lansing says expenses have been reduced, but it is not enough. A spokesperson says NPR is eliminating roughly 100 positions to cover the gap. The media outlet is home to the show's morning edition in All Things Considered.
JP Morgan Chase is the latest organization to clamp down on the use of ChatGPT. People familiar with the new policy say the bank is limiting the artificial intelligence software due to compliance concerns. ChatGPT has been the target of scrutiny since it was publicly released in November. Though it can generate believable essays, scripts, and computer code, it has also been reported to make significant errors. That's a big concern for companies that deal with sensitive personal information. Government regulators monitor the banking sector closely. Some companies in other industries have been more open about allowing workers to use AI software. When we come back, will the Golden State of the U.S. get several feet of snow this weekend? That story's still ahead.
And you got snow, you got ice, and even rain in a good portion of the country. What could you expect here? Coming up after the break. In the meantime, if you want more Newswatch, you can find us at YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter.
You have spies working for you? How did you find this? There's so much hope, joy, and life in that music.
I put it on. Wow.
Ooh, I like that.
When I first heard that song, I thought, here's somebody speaking what I feel.
I love this.
Okay, mind blown.
All this and more, now streaming on the PBS app. What does it take to be a wild dog in our modern world? Right now, dedicated people are going to extraordinary lengths to find out.
The American red wolf is actually on the brink of extinction.
It's time to take a fresh look at this amazing family and get closer than ever before to dogs in the wild.
Wednesday at 8 on WOUB.
The James Webb Space Telescope.
Think about it as a telescope that enables us to see the hidden universe.
Its mission is only beginning.
We're just tapping into those abilities.
Is there an Earth 2.0 out there?
When you have new eyes, you discover new things. With Webb, we're discovering a new universe.
It's just amazing.
New Eye on the Universe on Nova.
Wednesday at 9 on WOUB.
On Secrets of the Dead, the most significant Viking grave ever found.
This is perhaps the most spectacular burial in this whole field. It doesn't just have weapons, it has all the weapons.
Everything you need to be a professional warrior. And we now know that this warrior is actually a woman.
Viking Warrior Queen on Secrets of the Dead.
Wednesday at 10 on WOUB. 'Cause 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 'C
back southeastern Ohio and Athens today. You did know those temperatures were going real warm, going real high. Saw those 71-degree temperatures today. Sitting right now about 67 degrees, but those temperatures are going to drop slightly down to 57 degrees as we do have those mostly cloudy skies keeping in a little bit of that heat in our region. Now, if we take a quick look at State Highway 33, looking northbound, you'll see roads are clear. Skies, it's a little dark, but relatively clear. Traffic's moving smoothly, but those conditions aren't expected to last for too much longer, especially because we are in an enhanced risk for some severe weather in our region. Now, we just have a little bit of a slight risk here. There's a little more of an enhanced risk, especially as we get a little more south towards St. Louis, and this is associated with a low pressure system that's going to be moving in and bringing some rain to our region, but also dropping those temperatures. The big thing to talk about right now with this system, though, is that we actually have a wind advisory, my apologies, with the system, and especially across the eastern portion of the state. That's where it's sitting right now. But here in southeastern Ohio, we don't have those warnings. What we're more so concerned with are those high gusts that are still in the region, enough to maybe issue a warning, but not enough by the National Weather Service to issue those. So those winds are still concerned, and they will be a concern as we move into tonight. Now, this is the big system. This is the big thing that's going on across the country. Bring a bunch of snow up towards the northern parts of the country here by the Great Lakes and everything. Even this little pink layer that you see right here, this is all ice and wintering mix. And then as you go a little bit farther here, that's the cold front right there. That's what we're expecting in our region to bring us some rain. Now, what's neat to mention, we're in this region right here where there's nothing going on with the radar, but really what's going on, we're in a whole layer of what we call unstable air, and that's where you can get these little storm bands that you see kind of right now popping up, and that'll bring us our rain chances, especially as we move into tonight. Now, tonight, you'll notice temperatures are still going to be warm. That cloud cover's there, but we do have that 80% chance of rain showers. That's my apologies, rain. But that's because of that instability in that region that we're in, bringing all that rain to our region. Now, as we move into tomorrow, you'll see Athens. Your temperatures are still high. They're still warm with a low of 31 degrees. And that's because you have this cold front that's moving through. This is sitting right now, this is going to be tomorrow across the region, and as you continue into tomorrow night, you'll see this cold front pushes through, and that's where we see that drop in temperatures, especially as we look at our 7-day outlook. Now let's break this out. There's a lot going on this map. You'll see it's warm going into Thursday, but then that sudden drop to 31 degrees, and it's even colder Friday night at 27 degrees. Now, Saturday, you'll notice that rain chances come back as there's another system moving into the region, but it's more of a warm frontal system. That's why we see an increase in temperatures going from Sunday into Monday with those highs of 66 and a low of 39 degrees on Monday. And that's because we have another drop in temperatures, another system making its way into our region, and then we see another slight increase in warming. Now, this is just the type of weather that we kind of have at this time of the year because it is that spring conditions and whatnot. But we're not the only area that's getting impacted by weather. We're fortunate enough where we're not getting ice here. But there's portions of the country, especially in California, that have blizzard warnings.
That is crazy. How is California possibly getting snow, but we aren't, of all places?
They have a whole separate system that's impacting them there, but with the mountain ranges that they have there, with the higher elevations, they can still get the snow, especially at this time of the year.
Interesting. Well, thanks so much.
My word.
I know, that's crazy. Well, as we were just saying, severe weather is hitting a large portion of the country, causing winter. You're over there. All right. Causing winter effects happening from Michigan to Southern California.
Mike Valerio has the full story, so you know what to expect in the coming days.
Flagstaff, Arizona, looking more like Fairbanks, Alaska. Colorful language welcoming the latest cold coast-to-coast winter storm.
Eastbound 6200 south off-ramp.
A blizzard on I-215 in Utah, leaving drivers stranded. Plows in overdrive. But in terms of snowfall, the upper Midwest is expected to bear the brunt of the storm through Thursday.
Minnesotans don't panic and we don't overreact, but we also understand that weather can be dangerous.
The Twin Cities potentially getting more than 2 feet, what could be the most snow in 30 years. Ice accumulation is expected from Iowa to Michigan and all the way out to Boston. More than 1,200 flights are already canceled across the U.S., according to FlightAware. The misery focused in Minneapolis, Denver, and Detroit.
Hey guys, you guys have a rope?
In California, high winds knocking a huge tree onto the San Francisco-Oakland Bay Bridge. The Golden State getting ready for several feet of snow by Saturday, including an extremely rare blizzard warning beginning Friday morning, issued for Southern California mountains across Ventura and Los Angeles counties. I'm Mike Valerio reporting.
President Joe Biden said the government is watching for new developments in winter alerts. Those in areas under alerts or winter weather watches are encouraged to listen to their state and local officials for updates on what action to take during this time. Now, is it time for America to adopt a 4-day work week? The results from a UK pilot program are in, adding to the growing body of evidence revealing that a shortened work week could be life-changing for employees and beneficial for companies too. Chris Wynn explains why researchers are calling their study a success.
There's a revolution happening in the workplace.
Why are we still working 5 days a week? And why aren't we working on our lives?
This week, the nonprofit advocacy group 4-Day Week Global released the results of a 6-month pilot involving around 2,900 workers in the UK, where 61 companies agreed to let their employees work 4 days a week without a reduction in pay.
All around the world, across many industries, we're finding that this model can work.
According to the data, on average, employees reported higher job satisfaction, lower rates of burnout, and less work-related stress. The results also showed most of the companies involved reported no drop in productivity, with 92% keeping the 4-day schedule beyond the trial. Despite this, some human resource experts believe getting more American companies on board could be tough because of competition and the fear of falling behind.
Companies, employees, they want to win, and it is important for them to keep inching their targets higher and higher.
But some psychologists say employee burnout is cause for concern, with more people now prioritizing their mental and physical health, especially post-pandemic.
It's a step in the right direction to find a way to have a more sustainable life and a life that's more worth living.
A potentially game-changing shift in culture and mindset, as some aim to challenge the status quo.
This is about how we as people are looking to work in the future.
In Washington, I'm Chris Wynn reporting.
Coming up in sports, how one Ohio basketball player has taken an unlikely leadership role. Find out more when Newswatch returns. And be sure to stay tuned to WOUB after the show, as here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
What does it take to be a wild dog in our modern world? Right now, dedicated people are going to extraordinary lengths to find out.
The American red wolf is actually on the brink of extinction.
It's time to take a fresh look at this amazing family and get closer than ever before to dogs in the wild.
Wednesday at 8 on WOUB.
The James Webb Space Telescope.
Think about it as a telescope that enables us to see the hidden universe.
Its mission is only beginning.
We're just tapping into those abilities.
Is there an Earth 2.0 out there?
When you have new eyes, you discover new things. With Webb, we're discovering a new universe.
It's just amazing.
New eye on the universe on Nova.
Wednesday at 9 on WOUB.
This is the bottom of the harmony. This is the ground. Everything comes out of the ground.
Mingus is John Coltrane. Mingus is Kendrick Lamar.
He let you know what was in his heart. He let you know joy. He let you know great pain.
I thought my dad was a piano player. I had no idea he was one of the greatest bass players to ever live.
Friday at 9 on WOUB.
On Secrets of the Dead, the most significant Viking grave ever found.
This is perhaps the most spectacular burial in this whole field. It doesn't just have weapons, it has all the weapons.
Everything you need to be a professional warrior. And we now know that this warrior was actually a woman.
Viking Warrior Queen on Secrets of the Dead.
Wednesday at 10 on WOUB.
Welcome back. I'm Joe Collins. The land will soon be green and white as the Ohio men's basketball team clinched a spot in the upcoming MAC tournament in Cleveland. The Bobcats punched their ticket to Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse by knocking off Northern Illinois 77-68 at the Convo last night. Two stories of note. Dwight Wilson III grabbed his 1,000th rebound of his career during the first half. He finished with a game-high 24 points. And with the win, that is 17 on the year, which makes Jeff Bowles the first coach in school history to have 17 or more wins in each of his first 4 seasons. The Bobcats are the 5th MAC team to clinch. As I just mentioned, the Bobcats clinched a spot in the MAC tournament. One of the big reasons why has been guard Jalen Hunter, but Hunter's importance to the team goes far beyond his athletic abilities.
Great teams require great leaders, and the Ohio men's basketball team has one in
number 12, Jalen Hunter.
However, Hunter's case is unique in that this is only his first year with the team. He transferred from Old Dominion before the season, but since the entire team was new, Hunter has stepped up as a leader for the young team.
I mean, obviously, I've only been here for 1 year, so I'm learning as they're learning. But I know being an older guy and somebody who's played a lot of minutes in their career, I'm looked at as for advice and other things like that. And I just want to be somebody that can instill confidence into my teammates.
But it was something he was prepared for, as being a leader seems to run in the Hunter family.
My dad is a basketball coach, so just throughout watching him and his games and the people that he's interacted with, I think it just came with me with time.
Hunter's dad, Kenya, is an assistant coach for the Indiana Hoosiers basketball team. Growing up the son of a coach, Hunter learned how setting an example for others will make everyone around you better. His younger Ohio teammates are starting to see this with his play.
Jalen made an amazing pass, and the way he's grown over the course of this year has been amazing.
One aspect of Hunter's game that has rubbed off on his teammates has been his hustle. Hunter is constantly sprinting after loose balls, and his top 5 conference ranking in assists and steals has been instrumental for the Bobcats in close games.
Jalen is amazing on both the offensive end and the defensive end. So when he's just active like that, it's just contagious for everyone. Everybody wants to play defense. Everyone wants to get up and deflect and just disrupt everything.
Just 10 months ago, Hunter transferred to Ohio, just one more player on a very new team. 10 months later, he's arguably become the Swiss Army knife for a MAC tournament-bound team. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Joe Collins.
You can catch Hunter and the Bobcats this weekend on the road when they travel to take on Miami. Along with Ohio clinching, there were massive shakeups in the MAC standings last night. 6 of the top 8 teams switched spots in the rankings. Ball State beat Kent State at home, while Toledo thumped Akron for their 12th straight victory, making the Rockets the top dogs in the MAC. Kent State dropped to 2nd, while Ball State jumped Akron for the 3rd seed. An Ohio win over NIU and Buffalo's 28-point destruction of Central Michigan moved the Bulls into 6th place. Now, if you saw from those rankings, the Bobcats are the 5 seed. Remember, last time there were a 5 seed in the MAC tournament, they won the whole thing.
Let's just hope we see it again, guys.
Yes.
I mean, they'll hopefully have similar success.
Yes. Well, thanks a lot, Joe. And let's take a look at your final weather with Jake.
Now, you winter weather lovers out there, you aren't going to see any snow with this system coming into our region, but the big thing that's going to talk about with this system are the winds that it'll bring into our region, and also the slight rain and even this possible severe weather that it could be bringing into our region. Now, overnight tonight, you'll notice those temperature lows are going to be 57 degrees, still relatively warm, but now as that cold front moves through or brings in all that rain shower chance, you'll see temperatures slightly warm, 77, and then drop with that cold front. And then with our 7-day outlook, especially there, you can see that cold front moving through there. All those winds are going to be funneling in our region. It's going to be severe. We don't have any warnings in our region, but there's portions on the west part of the state that have those warnings. But we have more rain stored in our region as we move into the weekend, and then a slight warming towards the end.
Thanks, Jake. And our final story of the evening. A new study suggests there's a 400-mile wide ball of iron at the center of the Earth. The Australian geoscientists who conducted the research say they can now also show the Earth has 5 major layers instead of 4. Researchers use seismic data from earthquakes to help make their findings and believe their discovery might eventually explain some of our planet's oldest mysteries, including the behavior of the Earth's magnetic field. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Morgan Anderson.
And I'm Andre Knowles. Be sure to stay tuned to the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at woub.org. Have a great night.
Support comes from Help Me Grow, providing home visiting, helping pregnant mothers and parents tackle the big and little challenges of being a parent. Home visiting professionals listen, answer questions, provide resources, and help parents and their babies stay happy and healthy. More at helpmegrow.org.